Hello, we are live. How are you? My name's Ching Juhl. This is the Wednesday live interview to someone very special. Today we have director, filmmaker, DP, editor, writer, Darion D'Anjou. He's a very accomplished, award-winning filmmaker, and he is based in Atlanta, Georgia. And Darion was in a session in Clubhouse as a co-host. That's why he is a little bit late. But yeah, I wanted to thank all of you have been supporting my channel. And I do this talk and live interview on Wednesdays, mostly Wednesday 5 p.m. And sometimes I will do it on Sunday or Saturday, depending on my guest schedule. Sometimes if they are in foreign country, I will do it slightly different time. So yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about Darion. And Darion is very talented, and he is also a science fiction filmmaker. His film Hop was a finalist at Atlanta Sci-Fi Film Festival, and his science fiction short film Pony won 7 out of 11 awards at the film festival in Atlanta. Also, his film Pony screened as an official selection of a Gentleman Jack's Rio to Rio, hosted by Omar Hardwick. Bronzelands Film Festival, Atlanta Sci-Fi Festival, was nominated for Best Cinematographer, and the Berlin Sci-Fi Film Festival, and continue its momentum on the festival circuit. Darion's one black Darion's one take. He took the whole film in one take. Horror short film Mummy was screened in theaters. Have a very famous repetition, and he generated over 1.8 million viewers and counting, and continue online. So Darion is here with us. I'm going to bring Darion on. Hello, Darion. Oh, you're unmuted. Let me unmute you. Yes, I unmuted you. How are you?
We're also not as dependent on the sunlight.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I am gonna open it just so it is open.
Yeah, it's gonna get dimmer.
Time, which is much more interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
It's gonna become a sci-fi flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. So so tell us what's going on. You were in a Clubhouse session as a co-host today, and that's why you're slightly late. You want to summarize what was it, and do you are you inspired by the session?
Oh yes, 100%. So for those, some of you may have been on Clubhouse just now, but Yvette Vargas interviewed Steven Bernstein, who is a fantabulous director, and I would consider him to be definitely one of my mentors as a writer, director, and creative. We are working on a film together. It's a feature film, which he wrote and directed, and for which I'm the visual effects supervisor. So it's the biggest project that I've ever worked on, and certainly has a lot of visual effects in it. So even though it's not like a science fiction or anything like that, but it's you would put it in the comedy drama thriller, but it does have I'm guessing more visual effects than any of the films that he's actually worked on, and it certainly has more visual effects than any of the films that I've worked on. So for both of us, it's quite an interesting stretch there.
Yeah. So how did you met him?
On Clubhouse. I met Steven on Clubhouse. So yeah. Very exciting to be working with somebody who was an active part of the 1 Minute Film School.
Uh-huh.
Stephen used to mentor many of the students. He would come into the rooms. At that time, the film industry was a lot kind of shut down. So there was a lot more time, I think, for him to be able to spend time with filmmakers, share thoughts and philosophies and approach to filmmaking. And but ultimately through that, we built a friendship. And when he was starting to work on this particular film, he invited me to make a 1 minute film that to be included as part of the pitch deck. So I did make a 1 minute film. He included it in the pitch deck, and then he went and raised a few $1 million, and now
Oh my God.
now we're making a movie. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. So, you are very versatile artist, and you actually started you're like a musician writing songs and produce music soundtrack, and then eventually you also have a degree in economics or some kind of thing, and then you segue to become filmmaker, DP, director, writer, and tell us a little bit what how did you become so creative and from become from well musicians are creative too but more traditional sense, so how these creativity juice come from?
Yeah, I'm gonna. My mom is not with us. She's moved on to the other plane, I guess, or wherever you want to believe that people move on to. She's done that, and one of the legacies that I believe that she's left behind is my commitment to storytelling. Because I was lucky. I was raised in a very traditional family where my mom, for the most part, was taking care of the home, and my father was out, being a doctor and cutting people open. He's a surgeon, so he would cut people. And funny enough, he was scared me out of becoming a surgeon because sometimes he brought home these little vials of
Mm,
stuff that he would pull out of people,
mm.
and it just seemed so disgusting to me that I said I'd never want to do that. But she did read books to me every night, and she encouraged me to read, and I would read stories. And I don't consider myself a fast reader, but I do consider myself an avid reader, or at least when I was younger. I don't read as many books as many more, Ching. I need to work on that.
Me either. Me either.
Yeah, we read
Yeah.
like what, like technical journals
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Uh-huh.
to do things and all these other stuff. But I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I did the last book that I read. Um, I read Kindred, which is by Octavia Butler, who is a science fiction. She's a Black science fiction author.
Mm.
Yeah, I think if I go like this, it'll move my head a little better. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, she's a Black woman science fiction author. And as a science fiction writer director, I feel bad that I haven't read more of her stuff. So I actually
Mm.
read Kindred, and
Yeah.
then I watched the TV series, which is on Hulu.
I think that reading takes it's like a meditating a little bit, right? You need to have a right state to hold a tangible book. These days we just hold our cell phone most of the time. And we scroll around, right? Our actually concentration span also becomes shorter, not to mention the whole universe becomes shorter, right? And people like to see images, moving around.
Oh my gosh, it's hard to keep the attention. It's funny because when I was reading the book, I did also have that feeling like um, I'm not used to this anymore as much, to stay in a book.
Yeah.
So it took me a few days to get back to that rhythm. But I mean, in the end, I did, I read it in maybe like 3 or 4 days or something like that. So that's not really too slow. But it took me those first couple of days. I was like, ooh, this is weird. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, now you also write, right? And the writing has to do a lot with reading, I would say. When someone reads a lot, I think it helps the writing. But from what your experience, and so other than you want to tell stories, right? And when you write, do you find yourselves like you have this idea in your mind for a while before you have the pen coming down, or do you just started just sitting down and then just the thoughts just coming towards you? And how the process of writing?
That's such a good question, Ching. And it's funny because Stephen Bernstein did just mention some of the processes, and I think that's part of the reason we connect really well. Because I'll first mention what Stephen mentioned, then I'll tell you more about how I go about it. But what Stephen mentioned was that stories should come not only out of words. And I'm a strong believer that language is a very limiting factor, right? I don't think language is. I have learned a few languages, and that's out of necessity. But I don't think language is the most efficient method to communicate, right? Because I don't think in language, I don't feel in language. My emotions aren't in words, right? The emotions are just in feelings, right? They're in emotions. And even me saying the words feelings and emotions feels as though I'm trivializing what I actually feel. Because what I feel is more powerful than me telling you that I feel angry or I feel passionate or something. It doesn't express fully what it is. And so I've always felt that language is limiting. And that's part of the reason I think I'm attracted to filmmaking, because filmmaking allows to use images, music, sound, movement, body expressions, every possible tool you can, colors, right? Every possible tool you can think to try to get more into that language of emotion and how do people feel other than these words and everything like that. And yes, I've written 2 books and I write scripts and things like that. But that is part of the reason I think that writing was not enough for me on paper. I really need to explore with this thing. But so that being said, to go back to the writing process, I do try to go out of feelings or ideas, sometimes visuals. I actually sing music sometimes, Jing, actually. Like I might do dun 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 da da dun 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 da da dun dun,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just sing that into like a voice note, right?
Uh,
And I
uh,
can always remember when I go back to that idea, what was I feeling about that idea, right?
uh-huh.
And it's, oh my gosh, it's like impactful and it's really
Yeah,
intense. But I
yeah,
could say words intense or really impactful, or I could just go da da dun 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 dun, or
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like if you have
There's
that music
there's
piece.
there's a direction. There's a contrasting. There's a dynamic that writing not necessarily, words not necessarily can express, right? Because
Yeah,
you have this sonic vibration, right?
yeah. If I go, I don't have to use words. Like you get it, right? It's like,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on, like,
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I would do that. And voice notes, I make voice notes, and I do these things, and I do character, like what characters say.
Uh-huh.
I act like if they're in an argument, I'll like kind of act out the argument, and I'll just say it or
Yeah.
whatever, and I just get that down very quickly, and I try to get as much. So that's what one thing that was when I found out that Stephen goes about that approach similarly. I was very excited because it kind of like I felt like I kind of made up this approach that I do,
Mm,
because it's not in any of the books. There's not a single screenwriting book that I've read that will
mm,
tell you to go about it this way. But when I talked to Stephen and I found out that he goes on walks through the woods
mm,
and he just has his voice notes and he's just telling the story, acting out scenes, feeling what he feels, and then recording it. And then later he goes back and he like tries to get it into like a more organized kind of thing.
mm,
And that's a lot what I'll do. I might have an idea, a picture of somebody. I did a short film called Pod, and I wrote that together with my daughter Cyan, right?
mm.
But some of that was just like what it's like the idea. What about a female astronaut? She's trapped in space. That image of just a pod, like an ejection pod, flying through space, and a woman alone in this pod. So what's the story? We don't know what's the story, but we know that emotion, that feeling, that image, just that image is a powerful image, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Then from there, whoa, how could this happen? Like where,
yeah.
what, and that's how kind of a lot of my stories come from a musical feeling or just an image or an emotion. And then from there, let's play with that. Let's get more
Mm.
ideas about that. And then from there and build a story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm a musician myself. Speaking of music, right?
Yeah,
I
you
think
are.
when we have a little bit feedback. When when you know music, I think it helps. Not that other filmmaker, if they are not musician, they're not good. I'm just saying, being a musician, you have this special, sort of a sense of flowing, sense of rhythm, not being stuck, and also sense of a structure. Because deep down, even pop music, right? There's, you have like maybe four measures, a short phrase, and a measure, long phrase, and then you repeat, or and you develop into that. Actually, music making has this structure, and similar to a lot of creative, either writing or storytelling. What do you think? I think you probably have a very good. I would love to hear your music, because we
Yes.
don't talk enough.
We don't talk enough about music. Yeah, like because when I met you on Clubhouse, and I was like deep in this filmmaking journey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like my music journey. I advertise it less,
Mm,
right?
right.
But I do have a lot of music that I've made, and even my first films, I always started with music. Like I did a short for the 48-hour film festival in the first year that I was directing,
Mm.
and I just started by making all the music. I literally just made. We knew the film was going to be 6 to 7 minutes, so we made 7 minutes of music.
Wow.
Yeah, and before even having a story.
So are you, when you say you make music, do you write and then notate with the keyboard or with some kind of software, and to it's like the final production is what do you call, synthesized music or what?
Yeah, yeah. I'm more of a composer producer type.
Okay, okay.
I don't consider myself a musical performer,
Uh-huh.
right? Don't
Yeah.
put me. I'm not going to go in the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra and and try to pick up a viola or
Yeah,
something.
no, you play percussion.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to be Elton John and get
uh,
on there and try to
yeah.
play you a bunch of songs. I don't
Mm,
memorize a bunch of songs,
mm,
but I play,
mm,
right. So piano is what I use, but I'm usually in front of a with a computer, right? So
mhm.
I've got a MIDI keyboard, and
Yeah.
I've got Logic Pro is what I use.
Yeah, my brother used that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Logic Pro,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'll just play. A lot of times I don't record right away because I like to just play for a while and try
Mm,
different sounds, and
mm.
then when I get kind of something going, I will start to record some tracks.
Do you
And
have a link you can share?
I certainly can. Actually,
Yeah.
one easy way to find something I produced a song for my daughter.
Uh-huh.
My daughter's name is Cyan D'Anjou, right? Say
Yeah.
last name Cyan,
See
and
why.
there's a song called "Jill in the Box," and it's on YouTube.
Oh,
So yeah, so you can always look that up, and
okay. Let me try.
yeah,
So while you're talking, now wait. I do hear like a little bit feedback. Do you hear? Like
I'm
a
not sure. I don't hear it.
zzz, zzz, zzz? Okay. I want to thank our friends. There's a lot of people watching us right now.
That's
Thank you
it. So, is
guys.
there a place for me to look, or no?
Yeah, on your computer on the right hand side,
Yes.
you can see comments.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
see comments? And we have
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see it.
Helga is here.
Okay.
Inca Maya is Helga. And then we have my friend Mark, Shark Fin Tech. And we have Colette. Colette is here. Do you remember
Mm,
Colette? She's also, she comes to our room a lot. 1 minute. She lives
yes,
in
of course.
Connecticut. Yeah.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
then
correct.
Colette. Yeah. And then we have Lewis is here.
Oh,
Thank you guys. Thank you guys to show up.
and that's Helga, actually. Yeah.
Helga, yeah,
That's
she
right.
asked a question.
Yeah.
Do
Hoi
you-
Helga. Groetjes aan Amsterdam. Groetjes aan Nederland.
Yeah, Helga has a question. As I know Ching wants to visit Amsterdam, can you please explain to her why she would probably love to visit the Efteling? What is that?
Efteling. Efteling. Efteling.
Yeah,
Say Efteling.
Efteling,
Efteling. Yeah.
Efteling.
Beautiful. So the Dutch, one of the things they're known for. Now you're like got the whole German connection, right? So
Yeah.
German and Dutch, there are some things that are some overlap, right? And Germans, we know there's a lot of precision that's involved and timing and things like that. Dutch are very good at architecture, building things. engineering, mechanical, structural engineering. These are things that partly because of the history of the country being half the country's like 5 feet underwater, under sea level. So they don't want to get flooded and die and lose their country. So they're really, really good at managing water and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Efteling is a place that has like they made like a mini Holland.
Oh.
They built a small, like in miniature, like a small version, but pretty big. Like it's still big, but you can visit all the little cities and the buildings and everything.
Yeah.
It's so original and so interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. Can you spell Cyan's name one more time?
Oh yeah, Cyan.
Oh, Cyan. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And
So I
still,
am,
still in the box is
yeah.
the
Throw in the box. Let me see.
still.
I'll go into her Cyan.
Yes.
Yeah. I am looking for her that particularly film. And tell us a little bit. You must be very proud. And she is like 22, 23
Mhm.
years old, and she seems very poised, very together, knows what she wants. And she already graduated undergrad. Now she's in London studying art.
Yes. Yes.
We have I have a joke when I met a bunch of young people, right? And then they say, "Oh, I'm a history major." I say, "Oh, that's a useless degree." Useless degree. So tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, my daughter Cyan, Cyan, she's very much all of the cliches that you think about when you think about a dad and loving your child and having the greatest child and everything like that. She really is that, and I love her very much. And what I often say about Cyan, people say, "Oh, she's so smart and she's so beautiful and she's all these different things," and I say, "Sure, I'm not going to disagree with that." But I actually think her best trait above any of those, like being smart or being beautiful, is that she is very um, coachable, I would say, right? Like that's her biggest talent
Mm.
is that she's not afraid. She doesn't let her ego get in the way of learning from people who have something to offer her, right? She used to be a big time tennis star. She was a top player in the Netherlands, and we moved to Belgium. She became a top player there, and then also in the United States when we moved back. So she was definitely on a track where if she wanted to be a professional tennis player now, she could be. In fact, she just sent me a link because one of her friends that she used to play with and train with in Florida is just entered the top 100 in the world.
Wow.
So yeah, so I know it's maybe a little tiny jealousy she might have had why she sent that because she's thinking, damn, that like she's there, I could also be there, which is true. But just speaking about Cyan, she is an artist. She's a graduate of Stanford University in mechanical engineering. She designed her own major in that department, so it's the combination of product design and immersive design. And then now she's at the Royal College of Art in London, which is, pretty good, like prestige school.
Yeah.
Yeah, often tops the rankings in the world art, like number one, basically. But more importantly, it puts her in London in a place that has a very deep history in art.
Yeah.
And it's important that she's not afraid to be poor. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people would be afraid and think, well, you're going for an art degree,
Right.
be like poor. You're like, but the reality is, when you learn art, when you learn these things, you learn how to think, you learn how to communicate, you learn about the world, and so you're never gonna be broke. She's never gonna be broke. I have never have a fear. You can always say, "Oh, I'm gonna go learn to program Java." You know what I'm saying? And then the next thing you know, AI starts doing all the programming, and now you're broke because you only know how to do this one programming thing that's obsolete. But if you study art, you're studying to see the world, to think, to come up with ideas and be inspired and do research. And so I know that she will always be fine. So yeah, I've always encouraged her to go for it. Yeah,
Art actually covers a lot. People think about art, it covers history, right? It covers creativity also. And it has to do, art is such a big subject, can be different countries, different art, right? And different period has different art, right? Renaissance is different from today's art. So I think it's a very sophisticated approach, knowledge to life, right?
that's
So
right.
yeah.
A lot of
Um,
people don't know that the founders of Airbnb,
oh
uh,
yeah, that guy.
they have an art degree. That's from the Rhode Island School of Design.
Oh
Yeah, but it wasn't. They weren't trying to be rich, right?
yeah.
Their whole thing was they were in San Francisco
Uh-huh.
and they wanted to go to this convention, like an art convention or something, but it
Yeah.
was too expensive to live there, so they ended up sleeping on someone's couch, right?
Yeah.
Or no, I think what it was, they were broke and there was a convention coming,
Uh.
and so they rented out their couch because to make rent money.
No, they rented they bought an air mattress. That's why it's
Yes,
called
air.
Airbnb.
It was an air mattress that they bought and they put it and they let somebody
Yeah.
rent it to go
Yeah.
to the convention. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then you
Yeah.
realize, ding, we're onto something.
Yeah.
Let's pursue that. So it's like it doesn't. People think, you think about Steve Jobs. He didn't go to business school.
Uh,
He didn't study trying to make money. He studied something like art and literature.
mm,
Something completely different. But guess what? That's the thing that fed into his understanding that like design was going to be important.
mm,
Fonts,
mm,
they are important. People care about what the fonts look like.
right.
And that is not from a business degree. That is from a humanities
Right.
background. Yeah.
Visual art also.
Yeah. Or
Right.
even, well, I think his was more like studying literature or history. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So he was traveling the world, and then you get a better understanding of the world, right?
Right.
And then you can you don't have to try to translate it. You just naturally something will happen, and you will be in the right place, and your
Right.
mind will just make the connection, and there it goes from there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Tell me one more time her movie name. Sorry.
Oh yes, yes. And if somebody in the chat can also help, maybe too. You guys are probably all on
No,
YouTube.
I'm already on her YouTube channel.
Oh, perfect.
She
Jill,
has a very impressive YouTube channel.
so think like Jack and Jill.
Oh, okay.
So
Jack and Jill.
Jill in the box.
Oh, Jack and Jill. What? Fill in the
So
box?
it's the name of the song is called Jill in the Box.
Oh, Jill in the box. Oh, it's a
Yes.
song. She has a lot of blog type of
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She has a lot of that stuff. Jill in the Box would be the song that I produced with her, and
Oh,
we wrote
oh,
that together.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. Now you have been doing lots of DP as well as also what do you call you do a lot of DP and also you sci-fi film, you produce sci-fi film. So why are you interested in sci-fi? Because there's so many different genres, right? Drama or documentary or I don't know, yeah, lyrical type of film or yeah. So why sci-fi?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I really can't stand period pieces. I watched Till, and I really struggled through Till because it was well done, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's just that as soon as I start to see people wearing those clothes and be back in the 60s and all, and the 50s and 60s and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, I'm going backwards in time. And I feel like I'm just an optimist, right? I like to think about the future. I like to think about what's next and
Yeah.
how to move forward.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm watching a period piece, I feel like I'm rolling back the dial. And I really hated history. Even I mean, this is pretty much. I really hated history when I
Yeah.
was younger. I only started to like history like in college
Uh-huh.
because then I realized history can tell us a lot about the future.
Uh,
But if I didn't figure out that history could tell us a lot about the future,
uh,
I don't think I would care about history. Like I don't care about history for history's sake. I only care about
yeah.
history for what it can inform about like moving forward. Like it's just like I feel like I'm gonna tell you this is gonna sound I'm a little bit cynical, right, about the
Uh-huh.
world. Like, I feel we're wasting time. I feel we do everything stupid. I
Uh,
feel like the power of human ingenuity, we could be so much more, right? It's just like we waste so much time on all these topics that are, yeah, like I find them like like kind of small and not so important. Like why don't we take more time to cure cancer? Why don't we encourage more people to be how could we feed everyone in the world without, how could we come up with economic systems where everyone can have food and medicine, right? Medicine and proper nutrition and education. Like, it's so stupid to me that that's not already a thing. Like, because it's like when I look, because I read a lot about technology, right? I read articles every single day. What's going on? What's this, that, and the third? And so I know that we can do it with the resources that we have, right? So that is the most idiotic thing to me, to know that we have the resources to take care of everyone in the world, but we're just too dumb to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're too, like, our state of evolution as Homo sapiens is like maybe 2 steps away from Cro-Magnon, right? Like, we're Homo sapiens. That's great. Now we make cool tools and stuff, but we haven't gone to the next level to say, how can we take care of everyone, right? And the fact that 1 out of 3 people in the United States will suffer cancer at some point in their life, that's ridiculous to me. Like, why don't we just all tackle that problem and just solve it? Like, cancer should have been solved, So it's just like, it's just those things. And the fact that, I did a study on how many people actually have the level of training in the world that could even try to solve cancer, right? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like 200 or 300 people. Yeah.
Wow.
And that doesn't mean I don't count. So you have to count people with like the research training, because a doctor who's a cancer doctor is not somebody who's working on the cure for cancer. They're only giving you the drugs that are provided to them by those researching the cure for cancer and treatment. So doctors don't, it's not to say, you've got to be somebody who's trained at research and that kind of thing. And of those people, there are only 200 or 300 people in the entire world who have that training in cancer, to where you could say, these are people who might actually come up with the cure. So if there are 9 billion people or 8 billion people, and there are only 300 people working on this, no surprise that we don't have the solution yet,
Right.
Yeah, no surprise, right?
We're able to make, a rocket to go to the sky, right, and go to the moon, and we definitely have technology, amazing technology, and we can shoot a missile towards us. We can shoot it back. I mean, yeah, you're right.
We're talking about going to Mars, guys. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about going to Mars, but you can't figure out how to feed everybody on Earth. Like, it's so stupid.
So back to science fiction. So you enjoy doing science fiction. So are you trying to escape the reality?
Yeah, I'm trying to motivate people to think forward. Yeah, that's what I would like them to do. Like, I really just, I like it's fun, right? It's a fun way to explore ideas. I have, for example, some characters in one of my scripts who have like the cure for all diseases, right? And this becomes this hot commodity because everybody's racing to try to get control of it and chasing this person and trying to also destroy their credibility. So like the FBI are going after them, and then maybe their fiance doesn't believe in them anymore because the fiance is getting information that they stole technology. So what they can do is like isolate you from your peer groups and everything. So that's what happens to this character. But it's an adventure movie. It's like an action. It's a thriller. There's lots of sci-fi cool fight scenes and everything. But at core, there's the idea that maybe there's this cure for all diseases, right? So what I'm kind of in my mind is like, I want to secretly get the idea into some little kid's head, right? That wouldn't it be cool to make a one thing that could just cure any disease? And then that kid, maybe it's be my nephew, or will grow up and make it. Like, just go make that thing, Just the way we watch Star Wars. Like, we watched Star Wars and then we made cell phones, right? Because we didn't have cell phones when Star Wars was made, but they had those communicators, and then they could I think it was even flip phone at one point in Star. It was almost like a flip phone. And lo and behold, 20 years later, they made flip phones, right? So, that's no accident. So you can really, the mind humanity has ultimate power to make almost anything reality. We can do anything, but we have to have the collective will, right? It won't be just one person does it. It has to be like you get more people moving to that thing, and that thing will just magically just become. Like, you can make anything, but you do need to inspire, and you do need to have those ideas. And so my role as a science fiction writer and director is to make these things look really cool, make them look sexy, and make somebody want to go make those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
So speaking of sexy, I have your I'll share your YouTube channel. So how long you been doing YouTube channel?
Oh, yes. So my YouTube channel started.
That's your YouTube channel. Can you see it?
That's right. Is that
Okay.
well? That's one of my that's Darion D'Anjou, right?
Oh, okay.
So the two channels I have, that one is my. This one is a very good one to look at, just from a filmmaker, for
Yeah.
filmmakers to look at,
Yeah.
because I put even a lot of my experiments on this one, right?
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
so I put, like, I have these 30-second clips on there, and so you can really see, like, that filmmaking just not an overnight thing, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should have fun with it. You should try things.
Right.
You know, I have one little film on there where I shot this model and we were in Atlanta, and then she's talking, but then I put different words over her, like French.
Oh.
That wasn't what she was saying at the time.
Shall we see it?
Yeah, why not? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Hopefully there's no copyright music underneath, because sometimes when I play somebody's video or film, and the YouTube just say, "Oh, that's a copyright music."
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
which one?
These one, it's very short. So there's
Okay.
one with the down on the bottom row on the third, right in the middle, next to the watermelon.
Next to the watermelon.
Yeah, it's gonna kind of nonsensical, but it gives a good idea of the experiments that should be doing.
Wait.
So can you see
Hold
the
on.
teddy bear?
Okay.
At
1,
the bottom.
2, 3, 4. There's 4 rows.
Okay.
So
So
which one?
look for the teddy bear. Do you see the teddy bear and a watermelon on the right?
I see a lot of black magic. What does that mean? Black magic is where you use black
Yeah.
magic?
Okay,
Oh.
Tell me what you're looking at, and I can navigate you there.
Oh, I'm looking at the second line is a fabric, creep, hands.
Got you. Go to the next line.
Oh, next line is mommy. And then after that is nervous therapy,
Yeah.
mini pro. And
Do
then
that one. Do the next one.
Juhl. The
J
next
Juhl.
one.
Do the J Juhl. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 1
Yes.
minute 23 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did this in 48 hours or not?
This is just really fast. Like, this is just like a 1 day kind of thing.
Oh, it's not 48 hours. Okay.
Yeah, it's not even 48 hours.
Okay, so let's see this.
Si ceux qui sont marginalisés n'étaient pas persécutés, j'en propose. Marginalisés n'étaient pas à l'état qu'on propose, ces gens seraient libres. À l'état. Qui sont c'est pas perceptible à l'état comme les gens marginalisés, j'en propose. À l'état comme les gens marginalisés n'était pas perceptible à l'état comme les gens marginalisés, j'en propose, ces gens seraient libres. À l'état comme les gens marginalisés, j'en propose.
Cool.
So that you could see that that's like kind of experimental, right?
Yeah.
It's very experimental. So none of the sounds that you hear are the sounds that are where I'm filming, right?
Digital.
Yeah.
In this video, I'm going to demonstrate.
Oh, so even the kids, like, you hear like the kids in the background, or like it's a playground, and like the French and all of these things. It's like it's just going for an emotion. It's not going for a story, because I think it's like if you get to play, just play with these emotions and play with how the visuals affect you and how what you hear affects you. Like later when I want to do it into a narrative or I want to do something, it's much easier for me as to like to now, oh, I know that it will affect the audience this way. If they see this and hear this, it gets this feeling.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But you don't get there just by going for the final result, right? It's like just playing, just having fun, you know? Like, I like doing this. Like, I'm not doing this because I can get money or I can get fame or I can get, you know, whatever. It's like, I already am just going to be doing this anyway. Like literally, I've shot every single day after when I bought my camera that year. That's why it always says Black Magic Ursa Mini Pro or whatever, right?
I see.
Because I'm just experimenting with my camera.
I see.
Much like what I know you do this as well, Ching, right?
Yeah.
You shoot things, you don't necessarily have the end goal yet.
Yeah.
Shoot the thing and then discover and like that. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So the context of what is she saying is not that important. It's the mood, right? It's the mood.
It's the mood.
Yeah.
It's the mood, right? It's like the idea she's pretty, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, you get that French association. There have been people who watched it and said, "Well, where did you get that French model?" I'm like, she's not French. She's, you know, she's just here from Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, but like you assume that because of we did make sure to like her look.
Yeah.
That's my makeup. My collaborator, makeup and stylist, Shay Green. So she's worked on a lot of my films with me.
Yeah.
So she's the one who makes sure like all that outfit, the clothing, the hair. She does all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And she's with me on vision. So if I'm doing something sci-fi and futuristic, Shay Green is the go-to because she gets it like right away. So it's more like, okay, what's the look of this model? What's the feeling? What's the tone? What's the sound? And that's it. There's not a story. There's not anything. It's just experimenting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you're the one actually encouraged me to do shorts. I finally started to do shorts on YouTube Shorts.
Nice.
I would say for 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, every day I post one.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, and you guys, when you get a chance, just to watch my shorts.
Okay, I will watch for sure.
All my shorts from last like 2 weeks, it's all music. So
wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's about like
not necessarily documentary. It's like
no, it's not about filmmaking. It's about music. That's another sort of a expert. What do you call it? Another side of me, right? Just being a musician. So I can talk about music, like how to change strings or how to tune the peg, like because the shorts are so short, like anywhere between 15 seconds to 60 seconds, and I think it's very comfortable for me to talk about one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So speaking of shorts, how? Like you introduced me, not introduced me, you encouraged me for a year now. So have you done enough shorts?
Have I done enough? I will never stop making shorts. I will never, ever stop making shorts. I've always felt like, once the features get going and all of that, which is inevitable. I mean, I'll be making features. I have a lot of people reaching out to me saying, make a feature, da da da. And I'm like, I'm taking my time because there's no rush, right?
Yeah.
And
no, Darion, I'm talking about YouTube Shorts, like within 60 seconds.
Absolutely, yeah.
I see something. It's
I'll
very
be making these this
provocative.
Year,
Why are you doing that? Hold on one second. I
Always,
show you.
like because I mean, to experiment with vertical format.
I'll show you something. It's very
what's
crazy. Oh, what the heck are these things?
Okay. No, that's like unrelated. Yeah, that's a.
What do you mean?
You don't know Sudoku?
Those are your shorts.
That's just me playing Sudoku. That's totally unrelated. But
so you're playing. So you have another channel, maybe. So
no, it's on my channel. But that's what I said. Like my Darion D'Anjou channel is very, like it's more experimental, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put whatever I think of. That's literally, I'll put whatever I want on Darion D'Anjou. And I have another channel called Movie Fandom, which is I only put like the finished, things. But I don't mind.
Yeah.
If you want to get into my mind, this is the channel to follow. Is Darion?
Yeah. So let's talk about. Wait, I'm
Sudoku.
trying to get. I'm trying to get out of
You
that.
not play Sudoku?
Oh yeah. Let's answer some questions.
Have you never played Sudoku?
No.
You don't play those kind of games on your phone?
No.
Ching.
Oh,
You're
I
missing a
don't.
whole part of your life.
Really? I'll
Yeah.
learn. I'll learn from you.
What about Sudoku?
I never play much game. I only play very stupid thing, and then I delete it because I don't have enough space on my phone. I deleted my game.
Right.
That's funny. So let's answer some questions. Colette earlier asked you, says, question for Darion, which of his short movies was the most difficult to direct?
Oh, difficult to direct. Okay. More towards the beginning of my career. So the most difficult direct one is not even really posted. And it's I would say the most difficult one was my first 48, which was actually my first short film that I ever directed, because a lot of you may know the story that the first major film that I tried to do, I went right for a feature. And that was sort of my midlife crisis, because I was recently divorced with my wife, and I was living in my own apartment, and I made my dining room into a green screen and wrote a feature film and shot it. So I went ahead and shot it all on green screen. I still have it in the can. I will edit it at some point. But so once I realized that was a bit too much to tackle for post-production, because at that time I wasn't even really an editor. I mean, I had edited a couple of things, like I said, with Cyan, with the music video with her, but I wasn't really an editor, So me trying to edit a feature film and then use green screen and on my MacBook Pro from 2013, it was just too much. Like my computer was choking and crashing. So then I was like, oh, the way people do this is they typically direct a short film first. So I was like, oh, let me try to do that and build back up. So I did a 48-hour film festival, and that was the one that I did starting with all music. And I wrote, I composed the theme for that. And then I worked with some other musical collaborators. I got a live guitarist, a live bassist, and then another guy, his name is Steve. I'm trying to remember his last name right now. But he had a whole studio with he has like over 100 guitars in his studio and a bunch of other instruments and everything. And so we produced this entire song. And then the idea was at the 48, I would write the movie to that music. So I had already a complete music thing, epic. Like the whole thing was epic, guitars, strings, like we went full on. And then we get the prompt on that Friday night. And so I start writing it. I write it to the music. And then the challenge is that the editor I couldn't be with the editor because we were still shooting while giving footage to the editor. And the editor mistakenly thought that we had these C-stands it was supposed to be like a research lab. So I was using the C-stands with the lights as diegetic. So like part of the actual story. But he thought we just accidentally shot these C-stands and didn't realize they were on camera or something.
What is a C-stand?
The C-stand is the metal pole that holds the lights.
Okay.
So I had a bunch of poles in this 1.5 minute one take. We had a Steadicam guy show up. And so I had him do a 1.5 minute one take Steadicam, and it's crossing all these things, gorgeous shot. But the editor thought that the C-stands being in the shot was a mistake. So he started chopping the film. Every time he saw a C-stand, he would cut this beautiful one take that we spent like a couple of hours just to get this one take. And so I get back to after shooting and I go see the film, and it was 10 p.m. on Saturday night. The film is due Sunday at 7 p.m., right? So 10 p.m. Saturday night, I'm finished with shooting and I go to the editors and I'm like, he shows me what he has. And I literally almost started crying because
Oh my God.
they told me the film was almost finished. He's already edited so much of it. Like there's a whole draft ready and we're like going to really kill this thing. I get over there. He had completely didn't understand what we were going for. And he had chopped around all these C stands. And so I was just like, and what made it worse was he's like, and now I'm tired. I got to go.
But you have a lot of jump cuts though. If he cuts in one take.
Yeah, so he's cutting my beautiful, smooth 1.5 minute long take. He cut it into all these chops.
How come you don't do it yourself?
No, because I was not much of an editor at that point, right?
Oh,
like
okay.
I could edit, but I was like, it's like, you know what I mean? And so, and then I was like, well, you know, we need to I was explaining to him what to fix, and then it took an hour talking and trying to get him to understand. And he's like, okay, I get it. But guess what? Now it's 11 p.m. I'm tired. I have to go home. So he left and just left us sitting there. So my cinematographer, who actually edits, he said, listen, I'll stay here with you and we'll figure this out. We'll stay here all night. And we sat there all night and re-edited the whole film.
Oh my God.
After shooting, at this point, we had been shooting for 30 hours.
Wow.
Of just us on set, writing, shooting.
Yeah.
No sleep.
Is it 1 minute? 1 minute?
No, that one's a 7 minute. It's a 7-minute movie.
But so how can you do 7 minute one take? Oh, well, you mean
in the middle, it was gonna have this nice one take in the middle of the movie.
Oh, okay.
That's 1.5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we re-edited it. We got the one take to be the way it was supposed to be. But we were under so much pressure that by that time it was like too hard to really get the film, the sound design and all the mix and everything. Like we didn't have time enough to really get it like polished the way it's supposed to be, which is a shame because we had the shots. Like, so I felt the worst about that one because that was a film where we had the shots, we had the acting performances, we had the production design, we had the cinematography, and we had all the elements, but couldn't get to the finish line. And that really hurt my heart. Like I felt really bad about that because we played it at the 48, you know, and it was like, you know, it was like decently received, but it wasn't the way that I knew it was supposed to be. You know, people didn't really the story wasn't all the way fully coherent, you know, and so I was like, fuck, this is too bad. Yeah, that was my toughest experience, and I learned a lot from it though. Yeah, so
yeah.
They frack, right? Instead of fuck.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. So I was gonna like we have a lot of questions here. That's great. In terms of gears, right? When you first started, are you because you often encourage us, says use whatever you have, right? You don't have to. But when earlier, when you started to become, you know, I guess shooter or cinematographer or DP, do you care about having the best camera you can have?
Well, I did when I was beginning because I didn't know, right? So I just thought, you know, just like everybody else, it's like, oh, camera, this, that, and the third, right? So like when I did that feature, I didn't own any equipment. I just got that's my friend, the cinematographer, and I was just talking about. He's the one who shot the feature with me, right? So he's a great guy. Reed Stegal is actually his name, from Atlanta. Great, talented guy. But he had all the gear. And I had the story and the direction. So we came together to shoot those things. So I didn't have any gear when I started, right? And then after about a year, and then we were going to shoot this feature with a friend of mine, co-directing a feature. And we had a limited amount of time in this person's house, and we were running out of time, and it was an action film. So at that time, I realized we could speed up this film if we had another camera. So I bought a camera. So I had been saving to buy a camera. That's when I bought my Blackmagic. So that was after a year and a half already. I was already in the game and I didn't own any equipment. So I bought that camera. That helped us finish the film faster. And then I got into cinematography because I was like, okay, well, I got a camera now. Let's figure out how to use this thing. So that's kind of what happened. But I didn't realize until later that the technology, the cameras don't matter nearly as much as the storytelling. And post-production does matter. I'll never tell somebody, if you ever hear me tell somebody that post-production doesn't matter, please take me into a therapist right away, because something's wrong with me. Because post-production does matter.
Yeah. It's like sometimes post-production is a story also. You finalize the story. You're through this post production, right? You make the sound better. You make music making sense, and you make the color better, right?
Yes.
It's
Everything.
like everything.
You can
It's
retell the story, right? You can make an
Yeah.
actor look like a bad actor.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, I can take any film. If they gave me the raw footage of The Godfather, I could re-edit it and make Marlon Brando look like a shitty actor. 100%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. That's true. And we have a question from Helga. Another one says, "What was the inspiration behind Pony?" Well, speaking of Pony, maybe we should show Pony. So
let's do it. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
We still got to show Jill in the Box though, because that one is
Jill in the Box, right?
Yeah, Jill
I
in the
couldn't.
Box.
Can you just find it and send me the link in a private chat? Because I couldn't find it. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna find Pony. By the way, while I'm finding it, I want to say hello to Amanda is here. Michael is here. Let's see if I can find Darion. Okay, Darion's oh, never mind. Home. Darion D'Anjou.
Private chat, paste, right?
Darion D'Anjou. Okay, so yeah, subscribe Darion D'Anjou. You have 1.1K subscribers.
For Pony, okay, so to find Pony, just put Pony short film or something like that. In
Pony short film. Oh, you have different versions.
That's really the site. That's the one I have that's monetized.
Oh,
monetized. Pony short film, I think should probably do it.
Try okay. Pony short film.
All these other people got scroll down. Let's see.
There's a lot of Pony.
Scroll. Let's see.
It's not on your website. It's not website. It's not on the other site.
Okay, I'll give you something else to try. Just type in movie fandom as one word. Movie fandom.
So movie. MOVIE.
No spaces.
Fandom.
Yeah. FANDOM.
DON.
All one word. Yeah. Try that.
Okay. Movie fandom.
Yeah. So these are now look like. These look like a lot of people have these.
Yep.
What the heck?
Yep. So
I'll look for it and just.
Yeah, you look for it. You give it to me. So Pony is not on your you have two.
So Pony is more.
Okay.
It's on the movie fandom one. So I only put like thrillers, horror, sci-fi on movie fandom. So it's like more target for like a audience.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you want to show Cyan, I sent you the link for the Jill.
Okay. Great. So let's see. Let's get that. Thank you. Okay. So okay. Did you guys see yet? No? Okay. Never mind. Let me just share. Cyan. Okay. You have to like a few steps. Okay, here we go. So this is 4-minute. Should we play the whole thing? Isn't it too long?
You can play some of it. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Video, so you can look at
the music. So we've played this. This is the music in this short film by Cyan is composed by Darion. So
yeah. So I'll give it. If you pause. So I'll give you the preface. So basically, this film to me means a lot to me because for a few reasons. One, Cyan and I wrote the lyrics to this together, right? I produced the music and composed it. She's the one singing, obviously, and performing it. But also, this would technically be the first real production that I shot and edited as a kind of like as a director, technically. This was shot with my Canon 7D. So I did have a photographic camera and I used it to shoot this music video. And the final thing I would say is there are only 3 people involved in this. So it's just me, Cyan, and my ex-wife, and there's nobody else. That's it. So
yeah. So is this camera is mirrorless or something like that?
It's a DSLR. It's before we got into any of the newer. This was the one that it was a groundbreaking camera, but it was this is the DSLR that kind of made a lot of impact as now people can shoot movies and stuff with a photographic style of camera.
So what software you edited? Did you do Adobe? And did you do color correction? That's your thing.
Yes, definitely did. Yeah. So what I mean, I just YouTube University for how to do that. Like everything on this video was like me learning how to do everything for the first time, because it's like I don't know what to do now. Editing took me forever. Color correction took me forever. Even the producing the music was a little easier because I'd been doing that for a long time.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Jane was plain, but wanted fame, moved to LA, changed names. Jack was a hater.
It happens.
Matter of fact, we put him in the box, he changed that, but Jill still stereotypical. That's why we've gotta go get Jill. Jill in Dubai, I know Jill. Jill in Dubai, gotta move a strong will. Jill in Dubai, don't stop till one. Jill in the bar. Heard you say I act uncool. Who promoted you to major two? I never took the cool class in school, so I doubt I'll obey your rule. Much has changed, but much is still. That's why we've gotta go get Jill. Jill in the bar, I know Jill. Jill in the bar, gotta move a strong will. Jill in the bar, don't stop till boy. Jill in the bar. I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, stone-cold fox. Why would you want to put me in a box? I rule in the US of A. Daddy, make them do what I say. I'm a blue-blooded, certified prom queen. It's my certified right to be witchy and mean. Buy them all. I can't choose which. Wait a minute. Isn't everybody rich? Put her in the box and turn the crank. Blast a fat track from the song bank. Jill pops out, shiny and new, fresh. Update to her worldview. Much has changed, much is still. That's why we gotta go get Jill. Jill in the bar, I know Jill. Jill in the bar, I move a strong will. Jill in the bar, don't stop till one. Jill in the bar, Jill in the bar, I know Jill. Jill in the bar, gotta move a strong will. Jill in the bar, don't stop. chill in the bar. Let her out here. OMG, where are we? Is this neighborhood like a third world country? This is Midtown, on your way home. OMG, OMG, Daddy!
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
There's so many kind of what do you call experimenting kind of elements, right? First of all, I noticed it's a mostly black and white, mostly,
Mhm.
right? Have
Yeah.
a little color.
Yes.
And the music is very energetic and very rhythmic driven, and then even she wear white and then black, so there's always contrasting, right?
Yes.
It's very
Everyone.
interesting. And yeah, so great work. You can definitely make a big money by doing a music video.
Well, and it was like an art project for us too, right?
Uh-huh.
It's you see that Cyan is in art school now, but
Yeah.
like a lot of that comes from like that mask, the glitter mask.
Yeah.
We didn't buy it like that. Like we had a mask and we just glued glitter and made that glitter mask.
Yeah.
And you know, the hair and the Jill and the
Yeah.
little box that she's in, we just made that right at home.
Yeah.
And just you know, so it really is like a fun becomes, you know, the so like the ex-wife is the one who's dancing in there and
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not only Cyan.
Yeah, so there's Cyan, and then there the person in the Jill box is
okay, okay,
exactly.
cool.
So,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so it's like a fun family project, right?
Right.
So in the end, you're like everybody's putting into
yeah.
You know, yeah.
And did you do it on a green screen? How did it?
That one, we went to a studio, a very
Oh.
small studio. I think we spent $150 or something to get the studio for like 4 hours.
Wow.
And it had a white wall background and a black wall background. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when you did this, right? We're way over time. That's fine if it's fine with you. When you did this, did you have like the whole thing written down, like a script, or you just sort of doing it as it comes, like the frame by frame? Do you plan the whole thing?
Yeah. So this for this
shot list.
I had read about making treatments and everything. So basically, since the story is not so much like a linear story, but it was like these are the shots, like these are the setups, right? So we want Cyan in the black shirt with the white pants, and then Cyan with the white shirt with the, you know what I mean? So yeah, so it's like do that one and then make sure we get full bodies in that each one, and then do close-ups in each one of those. Then we got to get the Jill, you know, Daphne's character, Jill, got to get her dancing in this outfit. But they're like two different boxes, right? So there's one box that is, I forgot, there were two boxes. Somehow there were two boxes. So we had to make sure to write down, like, get the shots of her more full body where she's with the boxes, with this box, then close up with this box, then full body with the other box, and close up with that box. And sometimes it says jail instead of Jill. So then, you know, do the letter change. So there's a lot, like, so that was all. And then we had like a few hours, so it was like let's move through and get all these shots, you know.
So you must have shot with say the black top, white the bottom, all once, right? And then you shot black shirt, you opposite clothes, you shot once, and then you slice them up. Right?
That's it. Yeah.
And you have the music going on because they need the beat, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of a challenging. It would be an easier edit for me now that I know more, but like, because what you're doing is like you're playing the song again, then you're playing the song again, then you're playing the song again. So when you edit it, all you really need to do is you stack all these layers that match to the song, and then just cut back and forth, right? But at that time, I didn't know about like the multicam editing feature that like the has. What I was doing was I was cutting out like all these sections and trying to reveal, and like it really looks chaotic.
You're like cutting with the scissors.
It was like cutting with the scissors down into the layers.
And
this covers that, and then like it was a lot. Like
Yeah.
I didn't do it the right way, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the music, and it's a sound mixing is very nice too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have a few. Let's see who else. Helga. Helga is a writer, right?
Thanks to everybody for asking the questions, by the way. That's really
I know,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Helga asked a really great question. Do you
Yeah.
think it is easier or harder to direct for children?
Oh, got you. So actually, this is funny because in this particular case, I've directed children a couple of times now. But when I directed my short film Mommy, that was the first time I'd ever directed children, and I was very, very afraid because not only were we directing children, but we had like an outfit change, and then he had to change shirt into this bloody shirt and do all this stuff and pretend to be getting eaten by his mom, like all this other stuff. So
You should watch that. And yeah, it's a one take. Really is a one take film. Yeah.
I was kind of obsessed with the one takes too. I
Yeah.
do like
Yeah.
one takes.
Yeah.
But it turned out because these children, Ava Monger is the girl, and Mason Wells is the young boy. Mason is a regular on a show now, so he's taken flight. I think they've moved out to LA because he's regular now. But he's been on Ozark. He's been on, since. This is all not when I did Mommy. This is all since that. But he and his mom are a great team, and they're very good listeners. And he could be a director one day for sure because he was looking where I had my lights. He was looking what we were doing with the camera. He was asking me questions. He said he noticed on one of the takes that one of the lights had moved, and he says, "Hey, Mr. Darion, I just noticed that light moved. Is that supposed to move like that?" And I was like, "Oh, no, thank you," because it really wasn't supposed to have moved.
Oh,
So he noticed this, and he was 7 years old at that time.
wow. That's
when he did the
awesome.
movie. Yeah, and he was
That's
on top of it. He's one of the reasons we had to do more takes too, because I felt myself under pressure to also impress him actually, because of his he's so poised.
Yeah.
And I can tell you when he auditioned for the role, he came in knowing both characters' roles, the boy character and the girl character. He knew the lines for both. And I noticed in the auditions when I had him pair up with others, if they forgot their lines, he would kind of whisper the line that they're supposed to say to the other. He was helping other children remember their lines. I was like, holy shit, this kid is
yeah.
Be
quiet.
he changed the script because when he came for his audition, he had brought a little tiny stuffed animal.
Yeah.
He was the only child who did that. And he brought the stuffed animal and he kind of used it as a thing. And when he was playing in the scene, and I was like, holy shit, we're using a stuffed animal as the thing to lead the whole action.
Yeah.
And so that's all from Mason. And so it was easier to work with those two than those were the easiest actors I've probably ever worked with, honestly.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, I want to play maybe part of it. Is
Sure.
that okay?
Yeah.
So this is the film Mommy. And be careful holding your blanket.
What happens if you hit full screen?
He's gonna eat you. Shh. His Wolfie's gonna eat you all the way up. We have to be
sorry.
Oh, hit full screen. Hit on the right.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't even that loud. But Mommy said we have to be.
Yeah.
Wait. Did you hear that? Mommy's on a date again. It's always someone new. I'm gonna catch them smooching. No, Tommy, don't go. We're not supposed to come out of our rooms when she's on a date. She's always on a date. I'm just gonna take a quick pic. I'll be right back. Thomas. Mommy? Thomas? 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 No, Angie! Go back! Go back! Mommy? Mommy.
Oh my goodness. What kind of sick mind thought of that? Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sorry, the credits.
Yeah,
That's
those are all
amazing.
my friends too. Like Deanna, our
Yeah.
director, like these are all really generous people, very talented. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So that was very creepy. I couldn't stop. It's like one take. So what's the challenge of one take in here? Because you have to go front, you have to go back, then go to front, you have to move backwards, and you use a stabilizer? Or
Yeah, so I've got the Movi Pro stabilizer. It's heavy, so we had to have 3 camera operators. So it was me, Shalisha, and Chris Cleveland. So I started off. I was the first person like behind the camera, and then they're all waiting at their stations for me to hand the camera because, like, so once I go and I follow Ava and I go around into that closet, at that point I believe I hand it to, I think it was Chris or Shalisha. So so I hand it to Chris, I think it was, and he's pulling it through that bathroom because you can't really fit like that. So he pulls it through as she's following him. In the meantime, the parents were in the living room area, which would have been on camera later. They moved through this side. There's a side door in that hallway into the room where the kids were in the first place because they're parents. So we had the 2 sets of parents and like and Natasha, the producer. So they all move in there, and Deanna, the art director. So they all move in there. But Deanna's waiting with the bloody shirt. So when Mason goes out and he says, "I'm going to go catch a picture of them, smooching," he goes out, and then Deanna switches him off into the bloody shirt, gets everybody positioned. The parents get out of the way, and all this while, Chris and Shalisha, he hands off to Shalisha for the going down the hallway shot. And when the camera slows down there's a point when it slows down before she kind of goes into the living room. That's when Shalisha hands it back to me, because then now I'm there and I take it. I do the turn and I follow the turn, and I'm holding that as Amy comes at me to eat, like as if she's eating the child. That's me holding the thing and I'm moving back. But I was actually scared of her because it's like you get into the suspension of disbelief, right? When you're watching these actors, and we hadn't rehearsed that move that she did before this. I didn't see what it was going to look like. but I know she has a dancing background and I've worked with her before, so I just trust her. I was like, whatever you do, you're just gonna do it, right?
So she improvised. Oh my
She
God.
made that. Yeah, she made that up. And she was like, I'll show it to you if you want to, but it would be cool if I just surprise you. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
That's
then,
awesome.
so when I'm doing it, I'm recording and she's doing this shit. And I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like scared of her. And I'm like, I'm actually feeling fear. I felt fear. I was like really scared.
Yeah.
So yeah, so so that was kind of that. But we did it 6 times.
Oh.
Because the one you see is the 3rd time.
Mm.
And it was the good one. And I knew it was the good one because the timing of these people and the movement is very hard to get right?
Yeah.
So I knew we had it. And I was so excited. We're celebrating. But then Mason runs over, a little director guy, right? He runs over, 7 years old.
AP.
Mr. Darion, can I see it? Can I see it? Right? Because there's so much excitement.
Yeah.
And what I didn't like normally when I don't play back when I'm filming for people because there's no reason. I'm the director. If it's good, it's good. We're gonna move on. You stay in what you're doing. Sitting down to watch replay, like playback, is slowing everything down. So I don't do that very often.
Right.
If it's not needed. But because it was kids, right? I want them to be happy, because they really did a good job.
Yeah.
So I tried to play it back, but what I didn't realize was because we're shooting Blackmagic RAW, it needs a little bit of time to process before it can play back. So I'm hitting playback and it won't play back. It's playing like just black and then it's going black. And I'm like, oh my God, did we hit record? Did we really record it? Were we like, and then Shalisha's like, no, I think it was recording. I'm pretty sure. And Chris is like, I think it was recording. I'm like, I'm damn well know it was recording because I really don't make that mistake. I look at the red light. I'm like, if I'm getting something, I'm like, I want to make sure, So I was like, I know it was recording, but it's not here. It's not. So I was like, hey everybody, can we reset, please? Like they had already started taking up their clothes. They were all getting ready to leave. I was like, I think we have to do it again. I'm not sure we got it. And that's like the hardest thing to say to people after you've been celebrating,
Right.
And these kids too, right? So so we did it another 3 times.
Wow.
And then I got back home, and then when I played the take that was supposed to be, it worked. And I was like, we just wasted an extra 2 hours for no reason. Yeah.
But it's a good lesson. Really, actually, I think in certain ways, since you don't need to see the whole film, but you really need to look back a little bit. When they shoot real film, they actually had people with a big monitor, right? And they actually play to the director to see if he or she likes it, or they can really tell. Sometimes in your own eyes, you couldn't really tell from the lens, including the frame, including the color, including. So it's probably a good idea. And several times when I shoot something, I thought I was filming, especially with a smartphone, and you think you push the button and you did not, or you push like the slow-mo, or you push the fast-mo.
Absolutely.
That's a disaster. So
I think on a bigger production, I would let other people do that for sure.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I like momentum. I like to keep moving.
Yeah.
And I don't play back while I'm shooting because because to me, it's like I want a setting for the next shot. Let's keep the energy. Because playback for me, it slows the energy, right? It's like you get into this like nostalgic mode of like I don't like actors when they start to get in their heads because they see it, then they start to get into a different, it's like guys, just stay in the scene. You know what I mean? Like you get into this. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So we have the last question from Michael. Michael has been waiting.
Yes, Cyan is the one singing Jill in the Box. Yeah, she's the singer.
And Michael has a question. Any books you can recommend on being a good director?
What's funny is Steven Bernstein was just talking about to flush all the books. Oh my gosh, I understand him. There are different nuances to it. I think the books are good when you're beginning, for sure. And I do believe that somebody like Steven has the benefit of life experience to where he definitely not going to need the books. But I do think in the beginning, I do believe that Save the Cat is a good book in the beginning. So contrary to what my own mentor would say, I would say Save the Cat, because if you master the structures that the hero's journey as well. So like if you only have 2 books, like if you just did Save the Cat and the hero's journey, those would be good for just the storytelling part, for the writing. But if you want directing, there's a book called Filmmaking Shot by Shot. I have it not so near me, but yeah. And another thing I would recommend too is potentially in the animation space. I don't remember the name of the book, but there's some really good books that have to do with like sequential storytelling. And some of these are just 3 frames. So if you think about the Sunday comics that you used to read, and it has like 1, 2, 3 frames, or it might have 6 frames or something like that. If you can get a book that teaches you storytelling in those frames, you will learn to be you'll learn storytelling really fast, because you have to like, what are the important frames? I only have 3 frames. What's important? You only have 3 frames. What's important? So it reminds you what's important for your shots as well for directing. And, you know, I did do I did an animation certificate for 2 years before directing. I did the drawing and animation. I did a graphic novel as well. So I did a full 100-page graphic novel because I was scared, and that's all sequential. I made my script into a graphic novel because I wanted to see, does it translate to pictures, right? And I wrote 2 novels as well from my scripts before doing directing. I'm not saying you need to do that, but I don't take for granted that background, because that definitely helped me to know a little bit better of like what is important to really communicate a story. So yeah, I don't know if that was a good enough answer.
Yeah, thank you. We need to wrap up very, very soon. Lewis made a very funny
What did Lewis say?
comment. I feel like something was going to poop out of the screen. he's, he's talking about you know,
shitting on myself.
mommy. Yeah.
The spider walk from The Exorcist. That's good.
So I just want to mention that this month is a Black History Month, and I just want to celebrate this month, and I hope to speak with Black filmmakers or artists and all different genre of people. And as a African American, how do you feel your whole life? Like, do you feel you have to prove yourself you're just as great as any other race, or do you don't feel that way at all?
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing. So there's a problem with race relations in the United States, and that has to do with, if you're Black, because so much of the imagery and the narrative has been like as if we are inferior. It affects everything, because it means that we kind of have to like overperform in order to get a lot of our opportunities. And I have always felt that. It's very unfortunate because it's not healthy. If you think about the successful Black directors, they are all Superman, right? Like, okay, just give you an example. To understand this phenomenon, which seems like a subtle or nuance, it's hard to prove. So when you talk to people, they may have the idea that it seems like you're making something up, right? But I'll give you the example. If you look at our presidents, right? You know, president that we have right now is Joe Biden. Before that, it was Donald Trump. Before that, it was President Obama. Before that, it was Bill Clinton. And before that, it was George W. Bush, right? Now, of those people, on paper, the most stellar resume by far, like amazingly by far, is President Obama, right? He has a Harvard law degree. He has a degree from Columbia University. He has a Harvard law degree, and he doesn't have a normal Harvard law degree. He was the president of the Harvard Review, which is where they post their legal findings, right, out to the world. And he was the president of that, right? So that means he's one of the best at Harvard Law. And if you look at Obama and the way he presents himself and the way he carries himself, he has no scandals, right? He doesn't have any of the stuff that all, you've got Trump. Trump is advocating, grabbing women's private parts, right? You got Bill Clinton, who great guy, great, really bright, but he's having all these extramarital affairs and all of these different things, right? You've got George W. Bush, who is known to have cocaine issues and DUIs, driving with cocaine and all of that from prior, was known to have like a C average or something like that at Yale, right? And on and on and on. So these people are not, I'm not saying they're average, right? Because all of them have their excellence. That's not the point. The point is that if Obama had any of those things that any of those other white men had, he would absolutely not have been president of the United States. He has to be Superman, right? And you see it in the film industry as well. Jordan Peele, like, it's great that we have Jordan Peele there, but like, look how incredibly he had one of the very successful shows on Comedy Central, and his movie Get Out was like perfect. It was like a perfect, there are no flaws in the film, right? And it's like, he has to operate at a level that is almost superhuman in order to get his opportunity. Whereas in a normal functioning society, all you have to do is be talented and be creative and be professional, and you should be able to work. And that is the issue. I've always had that. I went to private schools. I felt a lot of pressure of eyes on me because I was a minority, and I felt a pressure. So I had to do really well in school. I always had to be better. And that's too much pressure. It's not healthy. It's not a good way to find yourself. You need to be allowed to make mistakes to get better, like to grow and to be not a traumatic person. So yes, I would like to see a world where we can have Black filmmakers who suck. You know what I mean? Like give me, I watch plenty of shitty movies on that are getting distribution by white directors all the time. And they're just like, what the hell? Like, how did this get done? But they're friends with the other person, and you do this, and it's part of the pipeline. Once we get to the stage where a diverse women, Black people, Hispanic, Asian, like different Asian, not just all Asians. Let's like actually have Chinese and Koreans and and all the different things can make movies that are just okay, and it still be part of the thing. That's when we know that things would be like So don't just point me these Superman and tell me F. Gary Gray. F. Gary Gray did Set It Off. He did all these incredible movies, but he's almost never fails, right? So it's like, show me the directors that are allowed to, the Black directors that are allowed to make, like Ryan Coogler from Black Panther. This guy is like, it's nice to look up to him. Yeah, it's great to see him there, but he's a perfect track record. All of his films have always made like 4 or 5 times the budget, at least. You see what I'm saying? Whereas there are other directors that have if I look at their career, I could, even like, a Ridley Scott or like all these people, they have some crappy movies in there. You know what I'm saying? But they're given chance again because people believe in their creativity. They know this person will give us some amazing things. Ryan Coogler has never failed. He's never failed. Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther 2. Those are his 4 feature films. Every one of them is like phenomenally successful. And I'm glad about it. And he's an inspiration to me. But I want to see the USA and the movie industry where there's some folks that just kind of make some stuff that's okay, but fun to watch. And they're still doing well. Yeah. Does that make sense? You're muted, I think. You're muted, Ching. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not need to approve yourselves or to the world that you cannot make mistakes, right? So
Yes.
mistakes is what make you improve. So yeah, so I want to thank you, Darion, for talking with us, talking to me. And in Clubhouse we say last word. So do a short version, last word.
The last
30
word is
30
go
seconds.
have fun. Have fun to make films, everyone. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're in a great time. Very optimistic time. More people can make films than ever before, and opportunities are being created. So go have fun with them. Go look at my channel. Look at the fun that I had with some, not only my finished films channel, look at the stuff that I'm doing with the little French thing, or I'm taking a picture of a Porsche in front of Mercedes Stadium, or like I did a lot of those little experimental things, and that kind of stuff hopefully can inspire you to just have some fun with it, make some mistakes, have some stuff that doesn't make any kind of sense, but then all of that will feed you for, you know, your other projects where it all does come together and people are moved and everything inspired. So
Yeah, practice, and no matter how much YouTube you watch, right? How much lecture you listen to, how much clubhouse you sit there, you really have to do it, right? Because you just have to do it. Yeah,
you gotta do
physically.
it.
Yeah,
Just do it. Just do
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So my last word is thank you, Darion. Thank you, audience, to be with us. It meant a lot to us. And yeah, please watch my channel also, Juhl Media. I have 3 categories: videos, shorts, and live. Uh, Either interviews or I do live. Sometimes what do you call live streaming? What else? Yeah, my young gun diary again. Talk about and why don't you tell them? My young
Yeah.
gun diary.
Also, just as a last word, if you wear glasses, make sure they're as cool as Ching's. She has really cool glasses on, doesn't she? I love her glasses and with the headsets, and it's a really cool look. So, if we do decide to do one of these in the future, Ching, I'll be better situated because I don't know if you know, but I just moved to
Oh,
this house
okay.
this
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
But I'm planning to do more YouTube stuff this year.
Mm.
So
Oh,
you
okay.
asked about the YouTube shorts and the things.
Yeah.
I am gonna do more YouTube. So I am gonna set up like a space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's gonna happen this year.
Yeah.
But back to the question that you asked me was, everybody, if you haven't watched My Yang Gang Diary, where have you been living? Like, are you under a rock? Go watch it right now. Not only because for the same reason that we said about my science fiction films, I make them because they're fun and they're entertaining, but they usually have some idea in them, similar to what I made one called Yubi, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
this one of like
UBI.
universal,
UBI.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a universal basic income, right?
Yeah.
But I made it into a character, like a
Right.
computer, like Yubi, right? So that
Right.
is Yubi. So, you know, similarly, Ching has made My Yang Gang Diary, which is a great exercise in filmmaking, and it shows a lot of the techniques and the editing and the way that can be well put together. But most importantly, it has a very important message, which is that Andrew Yang is somebody who wants the best for America, is thinking not left or right with politics, but forward, right? And Ching has captured a very, very iconic and important moment in that movement. It will always be significant, whatever happens, because those are the moments that shaped whatever he's doing now. So My Yang Gang Diary is available on all platforms, and it's even free to watch on Tubi. And it puts money in Ching's pocket when you watch it. So go watch the movie, as I have.
I make 1 cent.
Yes, go make 1 cent for Ching. Let's get 100 of us, and then she'll have $1. Okay, and then let's get those 100 to have 100, and then she'll have $10. Let's keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great. All right. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you on Clubhouse. And we didn't even have time to talk about 1 minute film school. So check Darion D'Anjou is a very good teacher, and he has a 1 minute film. Darion D'Anjou 1 minute film school, and
Yep.
check that out.
YouTube.com/1 minute film school.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have a great night or great morning for Helga. And thanks again for everybody.
Oh, Helga, doeg.
Oh, what is that? 再见.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
再见. Okay, Darion, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Ching, for having me.
Bye. So just click on Leave Studio.
So I need to click on something?
Leave Studio.
Leave
There's
studio.
a red thing underneath.
Station.
Do you see it? Leave Studio. Underneath, like underneath the screen has, yeah. Okay, I don't think you left, but anyway, thank you so much, everybody, and we're end this interview. It's a little bit over time, and I hope you had a good time. All right. Bye, everyone.